Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm Gamesplaining Clank. If you have watched the first video, you will understand the rules and hopefully have an idea of what we're doing. So let's get straight into it. I have set up Clank as a two-player game. We have set up yellow versus blue. This character starts in the top left corner. The only things different on a two-player game are that the dragon starts in this space instead of down there. So 3 Clank are going to be pulled out at a time right from the outset. And 2 of the artifacts were randomly removed from the game. Other than that, the game plays exactly the same. The start player starts with 3 Clank in the Clank area. Next player starts with 2. If there was a third player, they would have 1. If there was a fourth player, they would have none up there as the starting point. So yellow is going first. So these 5 cards have been drawn. First up, that means we add a Clank. We don't have an option on that. We must put that 1 Clank up into the Clank area. Sidestep, so it's got 1 corridor that we get to move through, which is down to that corner. And then we have 3 skill. So we can purchase something with a value of up to 3. So let's have a look at the line here. Notice this one's talking about having another companion. It's marked with the word companion just there. So at the moment I don't have any companions. I could grab this one that gives me 2 movement, but I'm going to add 2 Clank whenever I use that. I don't really want any of them. So what I might do is just from the outset, I'll grab this guy, which is worth 3 of those. All 3 on that. They come into the discard pile, and then we go over to blue's turn. So once again, blue has drawn the 1 Clank. So he'll add 1 Clank to the Clank area. He's also got 1 boot, so he'll move into the same corridor. There's not much choice at the moment, and then he gets the 3 to choose from. He actually might grab this one, because that will give him the potential to regain hearts or gain money each time it comes through, so that's probably worthwhile grabbing early on. Then those cards go into his discard pile. We now reveal the next card because one of the cards was removed last turn. It's not a dragon face, so we get to keep going. Yellow now reveals his deck. Over the next 5 cards, he has 1 more Clank in that. So he'll put 1 of his yellow Clank cubes up into the Clank area. He has 1 boot, so he shall move 1 further through with that, and then he has 4 skill, so he can buy something that's worth 4. He thinks it's probably actually worthwhile to grab this one. The next card is revealed. This one has that dragon head on it, which means all of the Clank in the Clank area, so there's a lot of yellow there, it's 5 yellow and 3 blue, go into the bag, shake the bag around to mix it up a bit, and then we shall draw 3 cubes from the bag, 3 cubes. All 3 are black, so no one takes any damage from that, and those cubes are removed from the bag, so they won't be there in future rounds. Blue now turns over his 5 cards. Once again, he's got 1 Clank, so he will now add 1 Clank to the Clank area. He has 1 boot and 4 skill, so he'll move his guy through to the next space. With his 4 skill, he might use his 4 skill to actually grab these 2 cards. So notice they're both worth 2. They go onto the discard pile, everything to the discard pile. Next up, we turn over some new cards into this row, noticing once again we've hit a dragon head, so we take the Clank, the single Clank from the Clank space, put it into the bag, and once again take out 3. Blue has taken a hit. The other 2 just get put to the side for the moment. So blue loses 1 of his strength. Yellow now reveals his next 5 cards. He's got a add 1 Clank, so 1 Clank up into the Clank area. Then he's got a buying power of 4. That one will allow him to draw a card every time it comes through. That gives him 4 points at the end of the game. So it might be worth having that in there. He's going to have to add 2 Clanks straight away if he does purchase that. Actually, this one might be better because he could use the ladder to gain 2 extra boots. Yeah, he's going to do that. So they all go into his discard pile. We now reveal another card. Blue doesn't have a draw pile, so he picks up his discard pile and shuffles it to reveal a new draw pile, and he reveals deals out his next 5 cards. He has that +1 clank. So he will once again add a clank to the clank area. He has this one where he can heal wounds or take a money. It would probably be worth his while to heal that wound, but look, at the moment, I think he might actually take the money instead. So he's taking 1 money, that sits in front of him. He now has 2 boots and 2 skill. So he'll use his 2 boots first. He's going to go along this 2 boot corridor, which allows him to take the top token. What this token means is that he's going to be able to trash one of the cards in his discard pile and remove it from the game. That's super beneficial at this point in the game. So I'll just put that there for the second. We'll do with that in a moment. You do it at the end of your turn, so you can use all of your cards. So I've got 2 skill. What can I buy for 2? There's nothing there I want to buy that's worth 2, because this one adds clank, and that's all that's actually available. So what I might do is grab a mercenary, which gives me some swords every now and then, so I might be able to take out these guys. Those guys go into the discard pile, and then with that token, I'm going to discard that card. So I now only have 1 of these cards in my deck that's going to add clank whenever it comes through, which means blue will only have half the clank going into the clank area than what yellow currently does. Okay, yellow's turn. He reveals 1 stumble card, so that will add 1 clank to the clank area. He also has 2 boots. Yeah, he likes the look of going for a bonus token as well, so he will go through to this room and get the second bonus token from that room, and that is a healing potion. So at some point later in the game, he'll be able to use that to heal himself. He'll just put that to the side for the moment. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skill that he can use. I think this one might actually be the most valuable one at the moment. That will allow him to teleport to an adjacent room whenever he uses it. Adjacent is something that's actually attached. So from this room to this room, it doesn't matter that there's a lock there, but be careful about doing that because there's locks on both sides. He won't be able to get out till he gets another teleport. He wouldn't be able to go from there to there because they're near each other. It's actually adjacent means joined. And we turn over the next card, which is another one of these cards. Blue reveals his 5 cards. Once again, he's found his stumble. So he'll put 1 clank up into the clank area. He'll use this card for another money. He doesn't have a companion in his play area, so he's not going to be able to draw another card, but he does get the 2 money. And then he's got 2 skill. With his 2 skill, he might just grab another mercenary, so he's got that ability to fight. Okay, next up, we deal 5 cards. There's only 2 cards left in yellow's draw pile, so he'll now shuffle up his discard pile and deal himself 3 more cards on top of the 2 he's already drawn, giving him the 5. This allows him to move 3 spots. Okay, so he'll use 2 of them to move along this corridor, and they'll get him that token, which is another 2 hearts to him at a later stage if he wishes. This card allows him to discard a card to choose one of the following things. So if I discard one of these cards, it means I don't get the benefit of it, but there's nothing there that I want to purchase for 2 skill anyway. I can take 3 swords, and what that allows me to do is then move along this corridor to grab another bonus token, which is 2 swords whenever I wish to use them. And I've still got 2 swords left from this guy, so I shall defeat this guy. So that goes into the discard pile, and that allows me to draw 2 more cards. This gives me 1 more boot, so I should be able to move 1 more spot. However, I'm currently in a crystal cavern, so I can't move any further this turn, which means I can't use any more boots. So I'll just hold out there. But I now have 3 skill to be able to use, and I think I will grab another explorer. And they all go into my discard pile. And we flip over the next card, and we come over to blue, who has 3 cards left, so he'll shuffle up his discard pile and deal himself 2 more cards. So he's got his 5. This one he can use for either the money or the heart, and he thinks he's going to take the money again. So I'll take 1 more. And now we've got 4 skill to be able to use. I think we might actually grab this one, the new one that just came out, because that's got 2 skill on it, and it'll allow me to trash a burglar from my space. The reason I'd want to trash a burglar is because they're only giving me 1 skill each time they come through, so they're muddying up my deck. We now put out a next Next card. Yellow deals himself 5 more. He's got a stumble, so adds 1 more to the clank area. He's got 1 boot, and he's got a teleport. So what I can do with that is I can use the teleport to teleport to an adjacent room, which will be to that one, and then use the 1 boot to move down to this room, taking the token, which is 2 extra skill, which needs to be used immediately. So for this round, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 skill to use on this round. There's nothing super high, but what I could do is grab this one because that's 4 points at the end of the game and will give me an extra card whenever it comes through. And I've got 2 more skill to use. I might use that to grab a mercenary. That token then gets discarded back into the box. These cards back into the discard area. Replace that card. We've hit a dragon head, which means the clank is going to go into the bag. Another 3 tokens are going to be drawn. We've drawn a yellow and 2 blacks, so the 2 blacks do nothing. Yellow now loses 1 strength. So blue's got a stumble, he'll add a clank to the clank area. There's no other companion, so this guy's only worth 2 money. There's 2 boots. She's going to use go 1, 2 to here. Grabbing a token. He's picked up a dragon egg, which is worth 3 points at the end of the game. That little marker there with the arrow means that the dragon is getting grumpy, so it pushes him 1 further along the track. Now where he is, he's able to spend some monies. Blue has managed to collect 7 monies, so he's going to spend all 7 of those monies, and he shall purchase a key because that makes it really easy to move, or much easier should I say, to move around the dungeon. He's now allowed to go down those corridors that have locks on them. He'll use this for the 1 money, so he's got 1 money back in, and then he's got skill, but there's nothing he wants to get. I could pick this up, but it's going to cost me a clank every time it comes through to be able to draw an extra card. And I don't really want to do that, so that's going to stay there. Okay, I think I might leave it there. You've got the idea of how the game runs and what you're looking for. It gets a lot more tense as we get towards the end, so if that artifact happened to be there, yellow may have picked up that artifact, come down, grab the key, and then make a run for it, while blue is still pounding around right up at the top of the dungeon and hasn't really got anywhere. That's one way to play, or you might choose to come down for the 25. I feel like you've got a pretty good idea of how the game runs. I hope this helps you get Clank to the table. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you've got any games that you wish to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining, and until next time, enjoy gaming.